Gelfheim Studios presents Stories by Ancient Wolf, traditional and digital art, novels, short stories, high-quality prints of characters, and occasional art commissions and trades. Hey folks, AW here with another slideshow video. Today's subject is digitally painting CT1 Elspeth Castillo, Squadron VP-307 calendar project, this January, TSY 2514. By Ronald J. Liebeck, author of the Daggers of Darkness sci-fi novel series. In this slideshow video, I will be showing the steps taken to digitally paint CT1 Elspeth Castillo, who fills the first spot in the calendar project as Miss January. I started with the original sketch and then digitally painted the image on my laptop. I'm still a bit new to Corel Paint Shop Pro 2021, having used Adobe Photoshop version 6 for many years, so I'm learning the quirks of the new software as I go. To the right is the cover art for the calendar. Character info. Name, Elspeth Castillo, so Federation of World Space Service. Rank, CT1. It stands for Cryptologic Technician, Petty Officer First Class. Current duty assignment, the Sol Federation ship Darkfire, SLG-76. That stands for Scout Long Range Gun, meaning that it's armed, hull number 76. Position, Cryptanalysis Specialist. Age, 32 Terran Standard Years. Species, Iberian Lynx Gelf. Sex, female. Height, 160 centimeters, or 5 foot 3 inches. Weight, 52 kilograms, or 114 pounds. Eye color, golden brown. Fur slant hair color, various shades of brown and black. Skin color, not applicable to furry. Homeworld, Terra. Continent, Eurasia. Region, Iberian Peninsula. Population center, Soria, Spain. Languages, Spanish, Terran Standard English. Special skills include stealth, agility, and quick reflexes. A quick note on Gels. The Gels, or genetically engineered life forms, were originally created by humans back in the early 1990s by using DNA samples obtained from various four-footed animals, a few species of birds, and bats. By 2012, the Gels had chosen to stand with humans as equals and took their place beside them, eventually forming what would become known as the Greater Humanity of Terra. By the start of the 22nd century, Gels were no longer being created by the Center for Genetic Research and Development or its subsidiaries. However, they continued to refer to themselves as Gels on through the remainder of Terran history and beyond. Please read my novel Family Tales, the story of a mixed family genetic age, to learn how the Gels got started. Now for the step-by-step progression of digitally painting Elspeth's portrait. Here's the original sketch after scanning. Since I was planning on making a color portrait using the colors and fur patterns specific to her species, I kept the details and background to a minimum. You'd have to be a guide for the coloring process to follow. Step 1. The background. I had to carefully select only the pencil shaded areas and then color that part black to make it easier to work with later. Side note, this is where Microsoft Paint comes in handy. In order to keep the magic wand tool within bounds, I open the image in Paint and use the line tool to draw and position lines to create good solid boundaries along straight edges. It's fast and simple to do in Paint. Step 2. The oversized shirt. I added some light blue to the white shirt for the early morning ambient room light. The folds were given depth by lightening raised parts and darkening the recessed areas. I made the garment's edges dark to keep the magic wand tool within bounds so that I could apply a Gaussian blur to the garment. This gave it a softer appearance. The chair. I had planned on showing this as a separate step, but I accidentally saved the work on it without first creating a new file. My bad. This took a lot of work, a few hours at least, to get the colors, shapes, and sizes, the chair back, and the lighting effects done. Step 3. The cup. It took at least 2 hours of work to paint the cup, add the tag for the tea bag, the tea, and add the lighting effects. As with all my digital art, there's a great amount of detail work that one has to zoom in order to see, which I will show with the next slide. Cup detail. Like I said, if you zoom in on my digital works, you can see the great amount of detail I add in order to get the level of realism I try for. Check out the pointers to the right. Lighting, the cup tilt angle, liquid detail, the string detail, the staple detail, the shadow detail. I used a tool called push in order to try to get the shadow to curve some to fit the curve of the cup, though I think I may have to play with that a few more times. And the text detail. Of course, this has been greatly enlarged in order to show all this detail. Step 3 review. One more look at this step before going on to the next so that you get a better comparison between the two. Step 4, the plant. As I added the leaves, working from top down, I switched the shade to green in an effort to give a sense of depth and form. This took roughly 1.5 hours due to having to constantly adjust the size and rotation of the particular brush I used, plus switching colors. Side note, I adjusted the opacity down to the 40 to 75% range, offsetting a slightly smaller brush stroke of a lighter shade over a darker one on the leaves to give the illusion of light and shadow. I also used the burn, lighten and darken, and soften tools to alter the lighting as necessary and to keep the focus on Elspeth. Step 5. The walls. Since PaintShop Pro 2021 doesn't have a stucco texture in its library, I used several different tools in effort to create a similar effect. I first filled in the black area with a shade of gray, applied a gradient, then used different brushes to create the texture. I applied a Gaussian blur, then added more dry brush strokes. That's an actual brush. Side note, unlike Adobe Photoshop, GIMP, and Pixar.com online image editor, PaintShop Pro's gradient tool sucks in my opinion. It's difficult to find, not intuitive, and overly complicated. The user manual could be better written too. If I can find an easier way to use it, I'll post an update about it. Step 6. Edges. I returned the edges of a shirt to a more natural appearance by using a combination of the magic wand, brushes, clone stamp, and blur tool. I tidied up some other edges, particularly along the chair where leftover pencil marks had been notoriously stubborn to get rid of. Step 7. Base fur color. Using the freehand selection tool to restrain the brush, I applied 3 passes using the paintbrush tool at 60% opacity to lay down the base color. Between additions, I used the burn tool to darken the spots and other lines so that they wouldn't disappear under the brown color. Step 8. Face and neck. I worked on this section for the better part of 2 days to get the eyes and fur down. I tried a new technique for creating fur using a brush called Smudges 100, applying different colors, blurring, and using the burn tool. It worked well for the face, so I'll see how it goes for the rest of her body. Side note, PaintShop Pro 2021 has this annoying quote-unquote feature called step. Keeping it at 1 produces better results. They should remove it. Play around with color, size, rotation, opacity, and stroke length using the smudges brush for fur. For some reason, all brushes want to move in straight lines at first, no matter how you move your hand, so start slow to force curved lines. Step 9. Detail. This part didn't take long, 30 minutes at most. I used the same brush, Smudges 100, that I used on the face and neck, plus the burn tool. Some of the time spent was on tidying up the edges of the tail and where the shirt meets it. I had a few brush strokes get onto the shirt. Step 10. Body and legs. I applied fur detail and shadowing to her upper body and legs, plus added more shadowing to her shirt and tail. I'll blend the thick fur on the back of her neck into her back and shoulders. Side note, it's interesting how her figure went from flat and fat to a sleek 3D-like appearance after applying the fur texture and shadowing to her body and legs. Her size and shape really didn't change. Step 11. Arms and hands. I finished detailing this portion of her anatomy and also attended to some lingering edge issues. I added some more shadowing and darkened the chair seat and legs. Side note, Elspeth is looking pretty darn good at this point. The textured pads on her hands are in the anatomically correct places, along with the correct number of digits for a cat. No cartoon features here. By the way, her feet are digitigrade and her claws are retractable, in case you're wondering. Step 12. Lettering. Added the title, Miss January, her name and ship, and I replaced my hand-signed name from the sketch with my usual copyright for digital art to give a cleaner appearance. I can always sign a photo print by hand for someone by request. Final review. A last thorough check to make sure I didn't miss something that I needed correcting. Changes. Added some small leaves in front of the flowers. Touched up her nose. Touched up her face ruff. Removed a few stray brush marks that I found on her shirt. Touched up some spots along the edge of the shirt. And defined her chin a little better. Perfection. At least as close as I can get to it. I will have 20-inch by 30-inch and 8-inch by 10-inch prints of this available for purchase. Full portrait optimized for 20 by 30. The poster size prints will take a little longer to get from the printer. A close-up of her face, see next slide for an example, will also be available as a print. Prints. If you would like a print, contact me via email at irishman1959us@yahoo.com. Prints of all my full-color digital artwork are made on Fujifilm Crystal Archive photo paper with a 0.5-inch black margin. Maybe a little more space on sides or top and bottom, depending on the actual image dimensions. Price will include shipping plus applicable tax. Payments acceptable by PayPal. Finished! Another character portrait signed up on. Yay! What do you think about this character? Did you like the video? Would you like to see more of these step-by-step slideshow videos? Please let me know in the comments. Now this is a kitty to howl for. A quick review. What I used. Traditional art tools for the initial sketch were Georgia Pacific's Everyday Copy and Print paper, 8.5 by 11 inch, 20 pound, 92 brightness. A Pentel Professional Mechanical Pencil, 0.5 millimeter, using HB lead. A Pentel Click Eraser ZE22 white vinyl eraser. The digital art tools, Acer Aspire 5 laptop with AMD Ryzen 3 3200U X64 based processor with Radeon Vega mobile graphics. 2.6 gigahertz, 8 gigs of installed RAM, 5.94 gigs usable. Microsoft Windows 10 Professional 64-bit operating system. X Pen Artist Professional 22E drawing graphics tablet slant remote monitor. Corel Paint Shop Professional 2021 Ultimate. Microsoft Paint. This is really good for certain things that GIMP, Paint Shop, and Photoshop suck at, particularly at drawing, sizing, and positioning lines and basic shapes. The original sketch was scanned on an Epson flatbed scanner at 800 dpi, 48-bit color. Thanks for watching. Please consider becoming a supporter on Patreon.com. see the link below. And be sure to click the like, subscribe, and get notification buttons. See you next video.